Missy has been raising her grandchild as if he were her own because she believes his own mother, Brittney, is a danger to him. And here's why. When her grandson was just 11 days old, Missy received a panicked call from her husband screaming that Brittney was trying to smother the newborn with her bare hands. Whoa. Brittney denies the accusation, but Missy refuses to take any chances. The only way she will ever trust Brittney alone with her child again is if she proves her innocence. Take a look at this.
I'm not going to say I'm the best mom, but I'm definitely trying to recover from the past I had. And yes, I smoked pot, but I don't know what she's talking about, these other drugs in my system, because I got my toxology report at the place I went to get mental health at, and all that was in my system was the prescription drugs that were prescribed to me, my psychiatric medicine, and weed. So I don't see why that keeps getting brought up.
But she says that there was meth in your system?
There was not. I've never touched that a day in my life.
You never touched meth?
No.
Now, Missy doesn't trust you to be alone with your own son.
I can't blame her with everything that she thought she was told, you know, and I'm here to try to prove to her that I'm going to do anything and everything I can to change that and hopefully get a little bit of her trust back.
So she has custody of your son,
yes,
right?
Sir.
And how often do you see your son?
As much as she lets me see him, and it's never unsupervised, and I don't fight with her on that, because I understand.
I mean, even though she thinks you're a bad mom, you guys cooperate pretty well with seeing the show.
We try. We have our moments.
Yeah. Now, you've been accused of smothering your son when he was 11 days old.
Right.
What happened?
I honestly don't really remember. All I know is I was just trying to change his diaper and try to give him his passy like this, and was just trying to help soothe him because he did have a hole in his lung and he was not born with it. The hospital gave it to him when they suctioned his lung out because he had a bowel movement inside of me.
You didn't try to smother him?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember doing that.
So you might have.
I don't know. I really don't know anymore.
Why don't you remember?
Because I had postpartum depression and a mental break. And my body was just changing, I guess.
Yeah.
And I mean, was on
here's the
psychiatric
thing.
meds.
I'm very familiar with depression. And if you're on, you said at this point you weren't on any kind of drugs, prescription drugs?
I mean, the prescription drugs that the hospital gave me because I had a C-section and it was pain pills.
So you were like pain pills?
Yeah.
Were you on any kind of depression pills? Or?
Yeah, I had a psychiatric medicine. I had stuff for anxiety, my ADHD.
So would you say you were under multiple drugs at the time?
Prescribed drugs,
yeah,
yes.
I'm not saying illegal drugs, prescribed drugs.
Yeah.
But even, you know, I went through a depression myself. I realized how bad it was.
Right.
And then when you add on top of, like, you know, prescription drugs, pain drugs, maybe you could have done something that you weren't intentionally trying to do, but
I know in my right mind I wouldn't hurt him.
Oh, right, but like in that state of mind, and we've had mothers on the show that were in postpartum depression and they did horrible things to their kids, you know. Did your son sustain any injuries?
No, sir, there was no injuries reported. That's why I was never charged with anything. I never even seen jail time.
You didn't go to jail?
No, sir.
But they did get the police and CPS involved,
yes,
right? And then they did take your child and give it to
yes, sir.
Missy.
I'm not even trying to fight her for custody because it's like she said, he's happy where he's at. I just want to be there more. He does know who I am, and he does communicate with me.
Does he know you as mom?
He knows I am his real mother, but he calls her mother.
Okay.
And I can totally understand that because I was raised in a guardianship, and I wouldn't want to rip that away from him. He has a right to call somebody mother, and she is his caregiver.
Okay. Well, let's meet your son's grandmother,
yes, sir.
Missy.
First of all, he's never called you mom. I've always been mom. I'm mom, I'm grandma. Mark is dad.
I know.
That's my husband.
Yes, ma'am.
Mark caught you with your hand on his face.
And I didn't deny that. I just said I don't remember.
You don't remember or you don't want to remember?
I don't remember.
The medicines, you had marijuana, you had your prescriptions, you was going out every night, running the roads, The night you come home from the hospital with him,
I'm not
what
denying.
did you do?
I'm not denying.
What did you do?
I'm not denying.
I'm
any of
asking
it.
you a
I
question,
don't
and I'm trying to be
remember.
calm.
I don't remember.
You don't remember
No,
what you
ma'am.
did when you brought him home?
No, ma'am.
That's a mother, isn't it?
I didn't say I was. I just said I'm trying to be better than what I was.
You come to my house, and you left. What time did you get home?
I don't remember.
3:30 in the morning.
Did she leave the baby with you?
Yes.
The day he was born?
The night they come home from the
Right,
hospital.
right.
Brought him home and left. That's a mother.
What did
with
she say she was going?
I don't
Partying.
remember.
They went out to friends. That's where it was every night. I was coming home
So
from
you
work.
as grandmother, what were you thinking?
As long as I had the baby, I didn't care.
Okay.
You know, I was trying to do everything. I gave them the baby reveal. I did the baby shower.
did.
I did it all. I
She
bought the
did.
baby crib. I bought the baby bassinet. I bought the changing table. I did
has.
everything because I had to make sure that the baby was going to be taken care of.
And she did
I
do
knew,
really good.
I knew what this was going to be,
What,
and I
what
had
did you think it was going to be?
exactly what it is now. I just had a feeling that I was going to be taking care more of the baby. They
We were
just
young
had
and
no
dumb.
responsibility.
We were young and dumb. I can admit it. We were young and dumb. I
Young
was
and dumb. I
21.
was 16 years old when I had my first child. I got 4. If I would have done something to one of my kids, my mom would have whooped my ass.
Since you have had your grandson, have you seen any change in her, trying to be a better person, trying not to be, you know, a bad mom?
I feel most of the time it's a Facebook mom. When they come and take pictures or holidays or something like that, birthdays or something like that, and then disappear for 2 or 3, 4 months at a time, and then come back around and take pictures again and then go back and put them on Facebook.
Is that true?
Sometimes, yeah, we don't always have rides. And like I was saying, you know, our schedules don't line up. She lives in West Virginia. I live in Virginia now.
I moved to
And-
West Virginia because I would be walking in the store with my grandson, and I would get people to walk up and say, "Why did his mom try to kill him?" I didn't want him to listen to that. He
What
was
happened,
getting
what
older.
happened to your grandson?
My husband called me at work. I was at work. They told me, they said, "Missy, you got an emergency phone call." I went to the phone and he said, "Missy, Brittney tried to kill the baby." And I said, "A what?" And he said, "You got to get here. You got to do something." I said, "I'll kill her." That's what I'll do. I'll kill her. He said, "Missy, you can't come home and put your hands on her." And I said, "You watch." And he said, I said, "Where is the baby?" He said, "I've got him." I got home. They had her away from me. I've got an awful temper. So I got the baby. I called the law. They come and they done an emergency custody order, but that wasn't for my grandson. That was for her. They come and picked her up. They come to the house.
Oh, they admit her for like a psych eval.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, what they had told me, they said, where they come and pick her up, take her to the hospital where they do a 72-hour hold. They get there and they come to the door and they said, "We're here to see Brittney." She comes skipping through my house, 11 days after a C-section now. Here I am skipping through the house. We're all just standing there looking at her. The cop says, "Put your hands behind your back." They put her hands behind her back. She kept on trying to go into the living room and they didn't want her to, so they set her down. They get her up there and everything, put her in a room, 2 cops is with her. They get her in there. They didn't have her 4 hours, Steve. The cop comes out, he said, 1, they're sending her to the mental institute. I said, "I thought they was keeping her here." He said, "No, she's gone." 2, we need the baby. I said, "What are you doing with him?" And he said, "We got to check him out." She told the doctor that she threw him on the couch like a wet wash rag. And so they took the baby back there. They had to x-ray him. They had to make sure he didn't have no broken bones or anything.
And did they find anything?
They didn't.
Yeah.
They
And then they gave you custody of the child.
Yes, they had to call CPS that night. The cop
Right.
did. I told him.
But since that day, you've had custody of the child all this time?
Yes.
Yeah. And you want to keep custody?
My son ain't going nowhere. He's mine. He's mine.
And I'm not fighting for custody. I never
Right.
have.
She said.
She went and filed for visitation a little
Right.
bit over
But
a year
you
ago.
heard her say she's not looking to get custody.
He's not going nowhere. He's mine.
It sounds like she was very irresponsible.
Yes.
And, you know, the thing with depression, taking all kind of drugs, legal, illegal, whatever the case, you're not in your right mind, and you pretty much admit that you weren't in your right
Yes,
mind.
sir.
Okay. A lot of time has passed now. She's saying the best place for her son is with you,
Yes.
but she came and took a lie detector test. By her passing, is it going to change anything with you?
No. I can't. My husband saved his life the first time. I may not be that lucky the second time, and I'm not taking that chance with my child.
Well, but her point of taking a lie detector test is to show you that I guess, you didn't intentionally try to hurt your child, right?
Right.
And she's looking to spend more time with her son.
I let her, anytime they call, I let her come, as long as.
But they're not calling all the time, is what you're saying.
No, and it's whenever it's convenient. And my biggest ordeal, and now this birthday that just passed, she did more for him this birthday than any other birthday that he's ever had.
Does he ever say, I would like to see my mom more, where's mom? No.
My grandson calls her, and if she tells you the truth, he'll say, that is my biological mother. And he'll tell you, this is my mom.
Brittany, you came here and took a lie detector test.
Oh, God.
We asked you on the day in question, do you recall putting your hand over your then 11-day-old son's mouth? And you said yes, you confessed. She stated that she does recall putting her hand over his mouth, but it wasn't to cause harm or to suffocate him. He was having difficulty keeping his pacifier in his mouth.
So you hold it in
So
just to hold it?
She was assisting him as she was changing his diaper.
Missy, I'm sorry. Please just listen.
Then
From
we
the
go on to
bottom
ask
of my
her.
heart, I'm sorry.
We go on to ask her, on the day in question, do you recall ever physically assaulting your then 11-day-old son? She answered no. Did you ever physically assault your son? She answered no. The results of those two questions came back the same, and it came back that Brittany told the truth.
I'm sorry, it don't change nothing.
I honestly, in this situation, I would tend to agree with you. Even after you got custody, it sounds like her life has not been easy, probably making bad decisions, bad relationships, toxic relationships. The son seems to me like he's probably in a very good place with you. And after having him for so many years, it would be hard to give up the child. And where do we go from here?
I don't know. I'm just playing off of what she is allowing me to do. Because I don't want to step on any
And
toes.
that might be what it is for the rest of your life.
I don't care. Whatever it takes to be able to be a part of my son's life.
I'm really sorry for the situation you're in. Sounds like you sacrificed an awful lot for
And
this
she
little boy.
has.
Listen, how old are you again?
30.
30. All I'll say is this. It's never too late to turn your life around,
And I'm
okay?
trying.
No more kids.
No.
Yeah.
I've never had another kid and I refuse.
Yeah, well, whatever the case. All I'm saying is, you know, if you someday, you know, your son's going to become an adult someday, then he's going to be able to do whatever he wants. And he's either going to choose to have a relationship with you, spend time with you, whatever. But you're not going to do him any favors if you don't straighten out your life,
Yes, sir.
right? Again, I commend you for, you know, being the tiger mom, taking care of that little boy. Like I said, you know, I think you have it under control. You got to control things. You get to control things, and only time will tell what you're gonna do with your life if you're gonna be part of your son. Like I said, he's a kid now. Someday he'll be 18. And then he'll be able to make all decisions on his own.
Yes, sir.
And he's only going to make ones to be with you if you're not all screwed up.
Yes,
all
sir.
right? Good luck to you. Very nice meeting you.